Welcome to Cocktail Hour. I'm Andy.
And I'm the Rev.
Another episode of Cocktail Hour. Yay!
Woohoo!
What is this, episode 15 now?
I believe it is, yes.
Oh, yay, yay. And I'm having a fabulous drink that I didn't have to pick out, actually. Rev did.
And I waited until almost the very last minute. It just kept slipping my mind all week. But thankfully, I got that nice big bartender book and flipped through there. And I just figured, this is something that I know I would like.
And because it has gin in it.
Exactly. And you've said on several episodes, I think, that, I do better with gin drinks.
You do. You
So
definitely
there you
do better with gin drinks.
This one is called the G-Cat.
The G-Cat.
Gin, cranberry, and tonic. And that's it.
Yep. Who'd have known? Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk it?
That cranberry could go with gin and tonic. I never would have guessed. But as I said earlier before we started recording the show, it looks like the drink Colette should have come up with. Because it looks like the pink Twatini.
It does. It is, well, we just basically renamed hers instead of the pink Twatini, the bloody Twatini. I think that was kind of gross.
I wonder if she actually listened to that episode, because, you shamed her.
I did. I did not.
You did, because you said in the podcast, you were like, well, to our regular listeners. And then, remember?
I did shame her.
Yeah, you did. You shamed her. And then she promptly called you a bitch.
She did. And you know what? There's not a lot of people that get away with that. But, no, wait. Yes, there are. Never mind.
Okay, so this lovely drink is 1.5 ounces of gin, 2 ounces of cranberry juice, and finish off the rest with tonic water. And so, obviously, you have to make it in a highball glass. But yeah, this is a really good drink. I like it.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's good.
Are you gonna post how to make it on the blog site?
Well, of course I am. All of our drinks are there, and we also. I'll go on the forum and post it there also.
Isn't that what I meant?
Do we have the rest of them up there?
I meant the forum. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I put it in the show notes also. Usually.
Mm-hmm. But I'm usually the one that picks the cocktail and pops it on the forum.
That's true. Well, you still take care of that then, and I'll put it in with the show notes.
Okay, fine. Mm-hmm. So, do you have anything, any points of interest you'd like to bring up?
Outside of the fact that there seems to be some progress being made on Fem/Con and IDF, if you're interested in that, check out the website. I think there's links and information on our last show, and the show notes for the last show on that. Looks like the website's starting to come along. I'm still not doing anything at all.
Congrats.
Yeah, so, but other people are. So that's, I really don't have, no.
Cool. Have you read anything besides the required reading for this week?
Oh, I did. I was reading my big ass off last weekend.
Your big ass?
My big ass off.
Baby got back? Is that what you're saying?
Well, not a tremendous amount, but I got some junk in the trunk.
No, I want to hear that song.
I also got a wee fit.
Excellent.
Last week, so I'm working on emptying out the trunk a little bit.
Okay, then.
Let's see, what did I read? I read Substitute for Love by Karen Callmaker, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a little bit to get into it, but it was different. I'll just say this. The two main characters kind of develop on their own. Instead of after, most times folks get together and then their relationship develops. These two folks each had their own drama going on, and it was very good. I enjoyed it. And then I also read Love Waits by Jerry Hill, which was kind of your standard, but I enjoyed it. Actually, I think that one, that was the one I said would have been like your anti-book.
Oh, yeah, The Perfect Storm.
the perfect storm of things you don't like in a book. This one had a 25-year gap and constant lack of communication, which caused drama. I liked it. I liked it a lot. So, and then I think the best thing that I read last week was Wedding Bell Blues by Julia Watts. It's kind of funny, and she's writing about folks in Georgia, and the southernness really came through, and it was very good. So I highly recommend that.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you?
I reread a couple of old favorites. Rebecca and the Highwaymen by Barbara Davies. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually in the middle of rereading Christie and the Hellcat. So apparently it's a Barbara Davies kind of week.
I liked that one. I just read that one for the first time about a month ago. Mm. And excellent. It's a pretty good Western.
Yeah. We might have to discuss that one on our Western show.
That would be awesome.
That's what I'm thinking.
Excellent. Oh, and speaking of a Western, I just saw on the Twitters that Susan Maher has one coming out in October. Something about roping women or roping the girls or something. I don't know. But it looks like it's got a hot chick in a cowboy hat on the cover. So we may have to check that one out. I have no idea what it's about. I just saw the title and the cover. So there you go.
Sweet. She does contemporary though. I don't think that would be considered like a historical Western, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's true. But still.
It's Susan, so
yeah,
I'll have to read it. It's almost like required reading.
Yeah, this week was filled with. We're still debating on the pronunciation of the name, so we're going to go with Nomi for the sake of consistency. But we were just debating right before we started recording that I believe it may be Noemi. Maybe we can get Katia Ruiz to drop us a line and let us know.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Or Charlie can let us know, because she's what we should have done is she left that link for me on the forum on proper pronunciation. I should have checked it, but
it's all right. Nomi works. Nomi works.
So we're going with Nomi. So I spent most of the week trying to read that, and then just finished up the Everlasting series about half hour ago.
Oh, so that's fresh in your mind. Why don't we tackle that one first then?
Are you sure you don't want to go with Nomi first?
No, let's go with Mavis Applewater's Everlasting series. There are three little mini books, if you will. They're not very long. But I'm not even going to attempt to do the summary, so I'll let you have at it.
Excellent. The first one is called Everlasting, the second one is Eternally, and the third one is Evermore. And I hadn't heard of these until we talked about it on the last show. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, before I do the summary, that I think I enjoyed the writing in these three maybe better than any of her other things that I'd read.
But you only read her novels, though, right?
I think so. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And of those, I've only read the online versions.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Before they were yanked off.
No, you can still get them on PDA.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. I thought they were all yanked off. Mm-hmm.
No, they're still there. So the three stories are set in like the medieval times, plus dragons and other mythological type creatures, and a few goddesses thrown in, some wizards. It's the story essentially of the love between Alethea and Raven, who were childhood friends, and Raven was taken away at one point and raised as a boy called Rowan, and Rowan becomes a strong knight and warrior for the king, Alethea's father, and is he's tapped to be Alethea's husband. Well, the story starts out with Rowan speaking with the wizard Peregrine about how the hell is he supposed to pass this shit off on the wedding night, since he doesn't have a penis and all that kind of thing, and he has breasts.
Yeah, minor
just
situations.
Minor details.
Exactly.
So the next three stories, or the three stories, cover a long period of time with discussing Alethea and Rowan and their family and stuff like that. And then we can talk about the individual stories as we go. Okay?
Yep, that works.
Okay.
I think, and I'm not 100% sure, so those fans of Mavis, please forgive me if I get this wrong, but I think that this series was a part of Mavis's PWP series. She did, I wasn't even going to go in and count them, but she's probably literally got hundreds of these little short stories on the net. And there's like the Wednesday series and the Thursday series, and I think. And you can click on any one of them, and they're like little PWPs. And for those of you who don't know what PWPs are, it's called Plot Wet Plot. And
or Porn with Plot.
Or Porn with Plot, yeah.
Yeah.
Because these three books are filled with sex.
Yes. Very good hot sex. Yeah,
very hot sex. Hello. And I thought you might especially like it because,
there's a lot of that.
Yeah. They
a lot of phallus work.
There you go. See? That I knew you would like it. I knew it.
I did.
As soon as that phallus comes out, Rev's just drooling. Well,
I don't know if I go that far, but it was very close. Yeah, let me see, on the Academy of Bards, there's a whole section called Wednesday Afternoon PWP Series, and then, let me see, and yes, it was part of the Wednesday Afternoon PWP Series with sequels. So, yeah, the Everlasting, Eternally, and Evermore are listed there, so you can read them online there. Or if you go to, I think it was xenofiction.net, you can get them in the compiled format on the author page. I was belching. I had put it on mute because I had to belch.
Well, I was just going to have a nice little sip of cocktail over here. I mean, the stories they're fun, They're real fun. They're not deep. And they're full of fabulous sex. I mean, there's really not much more you can say about it.
Hold on one second. I want to, there's actually, hold on a second. Hang with me, people. Hang with me. No, not that one. No, not that one. Hold on, folks. The academyofbards.org author. Okay, here we go. So they give a little summary of each story. So the first one, it says, Everlasting. Rowan is a brave warrior with a secret to hide. She has been promised the hand of the princess. Can she keep her secret even on her wedding night? Or will the world finally discover that she is not a man? Well, what happens is, so this is going to be filled with spoilers. Filled with them, I say.
Yeah, we do that a lot.
We do. So the first story really only covers the Rowan's nervousness before the wedding and the wedding night, and I think just one or two scenes after the wedding, and then that's it. The second story, Eternally, it says in the sequel, Rowan is king and learning that wearing the crown is a heavy burden. This one I thought was pretty cool because there's a dragon. There's some dragon slaying going on in this one.
Yep.
And a little bit of political intrigue. And a whole lot of hot sex. Okay. And then the third one, Evermore, which I think it was a little longer. It says Evermore is the third and final installment to the Everlasting series. Raven and Alethea face their final challenge, which could cost them everything. And in this one, Raven's father comes back, and and he is also known as the Dark One.
Mm-hmm. A.K.A. Bastard.
He was a bastard. But you know what? I really enjoyed it. There have been some PWPs that I've read that really were just. I mean, that's all. It was just sex.
Mm-hmm.
But these ones actually did, especially the last one. I mean, there was a little bit of angst in there, you know, some drama, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole thing. The only issue that I really had was missing commas in sentences that threw off the flow.
Yeah, there was a little of that. I even noticed it, which is shocking. But yeah. But I like a lot of her stories in her PWP section on the Academy. She's got quite a few that are interesting.
Yeah, you'll have to let me know some of the other ones that you enjoy, because I mean, seriously, they were great. I really enjoyed them.
Mm-hmm.
The characters are good. The dialogue is good. The settings and scenes were good.
Yep.
Yeah, I enjoyed them thoroughly. Thank you for bringing those up.
Sure, my pleasure. Although Althea is a little tough to say.
Alethea?
Alethea. I mean, it was easy when I'm reading it, but, you know, when you're trying to say it out loud, it's like, okay, I always get messed up with that one.
So, so Mavis's stories, we both recommend them highly?
Most
Excellent.
Definitely, yep.
And the sex was good.
Yeah,
I did enjoy it. I was a little shocked that Raven was as eager as she was to be penetrated with the magic phallus.
The magic phallus.
That's what my wife calls mine too.
Aw, isn't it nice? The magic phallus.
Yeah.
I please don't post pictures though.
No, I'm too bashful for that.
Oh wow, okay.
All right then. So, anything else you want to say about that?
Nope, I'm good.
All right then. Well, let's move on along to Nomi then.
Nomi by Katia Ruiz.
All right. So, Nomi is a story about Nomi, and she is. She is a woman, a rich professional woman from a rich family who has a pasta empire in New York, and she 3 years previous lost her wife, her partner, her 7-month pregnant partner in a car accident that they were in together, and Nomi ended up in a coma for a month, I believe, and was trapped in the car for a couple of hours with her partner's dead body, and it was very sad. And she developed some serious depression issues, and just a very withdrawn. The other main character is Terry Bledsoe, who unfortunately becomes pregnant by Nomi's loser brother, Anthony.
Big loser.
Who immediately ditches town when he finds out that Terry, who had been a 22-year-old virgin, was pregnant with his kid.
Mm-hmm.
Terry decides that Terry's poor, and I assume that's why she decided to go to Nomi and tell her that she's pregnant with her brother's kid, and we can talk more about that later. But essentially, Nomi takes Terry into her own home, and they develop a friendship and a closeness, and then there's a bunch of other characters in here too, and essentially it's mostly about Terry and Nomi's developing relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I have a lot to talk about with this one, and so would you just want to get started?
Sure, yeah. I remember one of the first impressions I had when I read Nomi was, it seems like the author may have at some point been around very wealthy people, or imagined what wealthy people lived like and projected in this story. And so it's a little over the top in several scenes, especially in the dialogue. People are a little hyperbolic and quick to anger, quick to frustration. There's some definite shaking of bodies, and emphasis of frustration, and it's a little tough initially, I think, on the first read to look over it, to kind of just say, okay, let me just keep going with the story and move along, and so that was just my initial impressions when I first read it. Especially, I think it was really brought home early on when Nomi's dream car for all her wealth is a Mustang. No.
Yeah.
That was kind of like my first indicator. I'm like, no, that would not be somebody with her purported wealth's ideal car.
Yeah, there were several things, and I'll be honest with you, I had a very difficult time getting through it. Very difficult. It really did seem to me that I could not have, I've been around a few millionaires on a social basis. My wife used to work for a multi-million-dollar corporation. She was the vice president. We hung out with a lot of people, and none of them spoke like that, or it just didn't ring true to me. But that was only one of the issues that I had. One of the things I had a really difficult time with was Nomi's responses, and not even hers. There was their responses to each other. Nomi's best friend Victoria's girlfriend, who I can't remember her name.
Was it Michelina?
Yeah. Her, even Terry. Their responses to the people that they care about were rude and at times violent. The first meeting that Terry had with Nomi, when she goes to Nomi's office to say, I'm pregnant with your brother's kid, which, to be honest with you, I'm really not sure why she went there and had the conversation with her in the first place.
I think she was just looking for support.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
because they just knocked heads immediately.
Yeah.
And I couldn't quite figure that out. And then when Terry decides that she's been insulted enough and wants to leave, Nomi grabs her and shakes her and chases her. Terry punches her in the face and then takes off, and Nomi drags her down the street. I had a difficult time with that, and those types of responses happened kind of regularly in the beginning. There was a lot of grabbing and shaking and pinning down and throwing glasses at her head, and
Yep.
So that was tough for me. I did like it took me until about halfway through to kind of settle down and let things go a bit more. Go ahead, you talk for a while.
I'm tired of hearing your own voice, are you?
Well, no, because I just don't want to. I don't want to just ramble on about all the stuff that I didn't necessarily like. So I want you to talk about stuff that you liked, so I can agree with that.
Okay. I think it did. I think you're right. Probably about halfway through, it started to calm down a little bit more. Nomi, in some respects, became a character that I didn't quite enjoy, considering she was, capricious with how she handled her bed partners.
Oh, she was a whore.
Yeah.
She was turned into a horny slut. You mean that? Just like, one day she falls in bed with, she's been in mourning for 3 years. She has some revelation, and no, this was before the revelation, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might have been. I don't recall the timing. Nothing like a good orgasm to clear out the cobwebs.
I guess. she meets up with some rich trust fund person who's decided to work as a waitress because she doesn't want to do something, I don't know, which, was another one of those things. So she screws her, and then the very next day, wasn't it the very next day she goes out with the woman that is her director of finance?
Yeah, was it Camilla?
Yes. That whole thing, I had a very big problem with that.
Yeah, well, it made for good fodder, but it did not endear Nomi to you.
No,
if anything, it kind of pushed her away a bit. I do have to say that
I expected the was her name Melinda, the waitress?
I don't remember.
And it started with an M. I expected her to be the one to create the tension between Terry and Nomi, and not Camilla.
Yeah.
So that the author did get that one by me.
Yeah. Amazing. Let me think what else. Now, I did think when Terry said after the Christmas party, was it after the Christmas party or the New Year's party? I don't remember which. One of those parties. And she said to Nomi that she was lonely, and then they had that big old sex scene. I thought that was kind of good.
I think that was New Year's.
Was it New Year's?
No. New Year's was when the baby came. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it was Christmas. That was good.
Yeah, that was pretty hot, I got to say.
She can write a sex scene.
Yeah, she can. And that was good.
Yeah, the sex scenes were good. I think. Okay, I want to go back to Camilla for a minute because I actually had to vent on another. I had to contact Iman and vent on her for this one, and Iman said I was being too critical. So,
yes.
But I don't think I am. So, Nomi is the head of Leone Pasta.
Or Leone Pasta.
Leone Pasta. So she is a businesswoman. She is a shrewd businesswoman. At least that's what I was, what I got from it.
Yeah.
A good businesswoman does not go to lunch with someone who works for her, who she respects as the director of finance, who's done a great job, been with the company for 5 years or whatever. She doesn't go to lunch with her and then proposition her at lunch and say, and when the employee says, do you think this is a good idea? As the president of the company, she wouldn't say, well, what's the problem? I don't think this is going to be a problem at all. Let's go fuck. Nobody else sees an issue with this? Really?
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, the old saying, you shouldn't sleep where you eat.
I don't know. That just really bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
And then because it turned out exactly the way you would expect it to.
Yep. It sure as hell did.
All right, then.
Yeah.
The sex scenes were good.
Yeah, they were good. And I thought the cousins getting all up in Anthony's Kool-Aid and basically realizing that he was nothing but a bastard was kind of interesting, how she brought the cousins in. Mm-hmm. And just to annoy him, basically, I guess.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen more of the Anthony aspect of it.
Really?
I would have. I thought that it could have, I thought more drama around Anthony and the baby and his wanting money, I did enjoy what she did with that,
mm-hmm.
How that resolved itself. But I think that could have been played up more. I think we could have lost a few of the sex scenes.
What?
I did. I'm telling you, I skimmed probably 2 or 3 of them between Nomi and Terry. I did. Are you okay?
I need a drink.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I need another sip. Keep going. I'm drinking now. In earnest.
I did. I mean, they were good sex scenes, but they were kind of redundant, and toward the later parts, it was just okay. I wanted more of the story to wrap up. I mean, there was a lot of issues going on there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really see the benefit of having of really going into so much detail about Victoria's relationship. I mean, she was a good friend. She had that good friend role, and but I didn't really care.
Yeah, she could have toned down that aspect of it. The secondary characters, they're almost hijacked the story at one point.
They do, and at that, I wanted more of Nomi and Terry at that point.
Yeah.
The drinking, and I'll be honest with you, through most of the story, I was really negative about it.
Well, yeah.
And so it had, the everything that appeared to be inconsistent or unbelievable just screamed to me. So, listeners, you have to take that with take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I didn't know what I was getting into. I think if I had already read it once, I think I'd been able to come away with it with more positive. But it was, I think that the story was good.
Yeah, overall, I think it was good. It had some glaring holes. And if she retooled it today, perhaps it would be different.
That's exactly, and that's what I was thinking too. If there was a rewrite done of it,
mm-hmm.
and I think that working with a good beta or an editor
mm-hmm.
or just a really good, thorough rewrite,
mm-hmm.
the story itself of a woman becoming, being duped or seduced, more seduced by Nomi's brother, and then them coming together, and I think that's a great story.
Yeah, the storyline
has that been done before?
A retooled storyline?
No. The pregnancy by like a family member or something like that.
Maybe. Nothing comes to mind, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the storyline itself was good. It was, with the tortured soul
mm-hmm.
and all of that. And I felt bad for Nomi. I did.
Yeah.
But I think, that you and I had spoken before, and you put it into words what I was feeling. The characters are kind of flat and two-dimensional.
Yeah.
And I felt that, but I didn't know how to say it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I think. I think you were absolutely right.
Yeah, yeah. But it has such great promise.
It did.
And that's why every few years, not every year, but every few years I'll reread it. Because the storyline is good. And it does show so much promise. And in my head, I kind of retool it in my head when I read it.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's probably why it sticks up there, and why I brought it to light to you. Actually, I would love a chance to retool that story myself, quite frankly. But I'm not going there.
Well, I mean, and it's been several years. It's been like 10 years, right?
It's older. Yeah, it's much older.
So, and I know from the beginning of the story, from the author's notes, that she's already rewritten it once.
Oh, no, really?
She said because that initially it was in first person.
Oh, I didn't read the author's notes this time around. I don't think I probably read them at all, actually.
Yeah, and she said that this is, of all the things that she's written, I mean, this is one of her favorites. Yeah. Or actually, I think she said this is one of her favorites, of all. And you can see that, I mean, you can feel Nomi's pain. Mm-hmm. I mean, you really can.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I would love to see this with a really good rewrite.
Yep, me too.
But even people that we know, like Gloria and Pixie, I mean, they enjoyed it too. And I think that's what maybe it was tougher for me, because I went into it honestly with really high expectations. And how I am about the grammar stuff. I have such a hard time getting past that. So to have grammar issues on top of writing, story conveyance issues, it takes me extra. It takes a lot to get me over that.
Well, I'm glad you stuck with it, and you probably only stuck with it because you knew we were reviewing it for the show.
That was the only reason I stuck with it.
I knew it.
But I was talking to Iman. I'm like, Iman, you need to start reading this so you can tell me that I'm full of shit and I just need to shut up.
No.
And she immediately came back and said, the grammar's not that bad. The story's good. Suck it up and deal with it. And I have another caveat. I'm PMSing.
Oh, Lordy.
So.
You couldn't have read it earlier before. Hello.
I like to read everything the week before because then it's all fresh in my mind.
Ah, I gotcha. Okay.
It's fresh.
Yeah, it's fresh. Exciting. Okay, no singing. No singing.
Showing your age, sweetheart.
Oh, Lordy. Yeah, no kidding. Holy crap.
Put that on later.
Let me just have another drink.
This is really good. I think I might, instead of just my standard G&T, I think I might do G-Cats from now on.
Yeah, it's very...
so cool. G-Cat.
G-Cat. Not like the F-Cat. So, yeah.
What are you looking up?
What?
Oh, you were looking up if it had won any awards. Okay.
No, it had not, but the little vignette after it did. It got, let me see what it said. Did I keep it up there? Oh, I did.
That?
It got top 25.
Really? For It's Our Anniversary?
Yeah. Wait, it says top 25 number 1.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I do have to say, I did read that, and I felt that the writing was a little bit better, and the dialogue was better. I don't know. I didn't look at the time frames. I know that the story is supposed to be 2 year. It's their 2-year anniversary, and I did want to ask you. I wanted to kind of sprout out in a different direction because one of the. Did you read it?
Oh, a long time ago. I didn't reread it for the show.
Okay. One of the, it's their anniversary, and Terry has some surprises for. Terry has some surprises. See, and I thought that you had suggested this purposely because one of the surprises that Terry has for Nomi, and in their 2 years they apparently had not tried this, but she had Victoria buy them a dildo and a nice strap. A nice harness. So that was one of the gifts, and Terry is wearing a negligee and edible panties. Now, I want to talk about edible panties because I've never actually. Welcome to Cocktail Hour.
Are we sure this isn't the sex broadcast with it?
That was on off topic. This is
Lordy. Yeah, for the listeners that don't know what I'm talking about, we did, about 2 Februaries ago, we did a sex toy show for Rev's Off Topic site, and it was quite fascinating. So, Rev, be sure to post a link to that so people can go listen to it.
I will, and my father actually participated in that episode to some degree. We couldn't hear him, but I'll just say this. I knew that my father was a kinky bastard before. Do you remember some of the links that he was sending us?
Yes, I do.
They were terrifying.
Yeah, they were pretty terrifying.
They were terrifying. No wonder I have issues.
Yeah,
Holy crap. Okay, so anyway, I have not had any experience using edible panties. I believe that I did see some many, many years ago, and for some reason, this is what's in my head. Now, I don't know, and I haven't done any research on this, but for some reason, I'm thinking like they were kind of the consistency of a fruit roll-up.
Yeah, that's a pretty good description.
And I do have to say that whenever I eat a fruit roll-up, I kind of think about that.
No, just don't get a pubic hair in there. Just saying. You be going.
But that's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking, okay, so Terry has on a cherry, a pair of cherry edible underwear, and so then Nomi goes down on her, and she's like licking but wouldn't that melt?
Yes.
This is what I'm picturing. I know it's supposed to be a very sexy, hot scene.
Yeah.
And all I can picture is melting cherry fruit roll-up in the pubic hair.
Not to mention that the taste becomes a little overwhelming.
Have you used this product before?
Yes.
See, because I know that you are quite, you're quite worldly when it comes to things in the toy trunk.
Yeah, my steamer trunk worth of toys. We should get a picture of that up on.
Do send a picture. I'll put it up. We've been talking about adding a page to the Cocktail Hour website that has some videos and some pictures. So you may want to check that soon. I don't know. I'm just saying we may be able to do that. Did you go get your new flip?
No, I'm probably pick it up in the next few weeks.
I think some of you know that Andy is going to be heading down to GCLS in May, June.
Yeah.
All right.
It's actually heading up because I'm in South Florida and it's in Orlando.
No, I'm in Wisconsin. Everything is pretty much, well, not everything, but most things are down. I like it down.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hoping that that maybe Andy will be able to get some cool interviews, and it'd be cool if we could get like some. You're listening to Cocktail Hour with Andy and Rev.
Mm-hmm.
We could do that, right? You could do that. This is who's usually there. This is Blaine Cooper.
You mean? Yeah, you wish Blaine Cooper was there.
This is Blaine Cooper.
No.
I listen to Cocktail Hour.
Nice.
You should too.
Yeah. You mean get the authors to kind of do a little introduction for Cocktail Hour?
Yeah, just like they do on the on radio stations.
Yeah. I'll see what I can do.
This is Susan Maher. I love sex and I love cocktails.
Well, let's see who's always there. Karen Colemaker is always there.
I just complimented her book on Facebook, and she said thank you for my kind words. So she can give us some kind words.
She could.
I think she likes us.
Yeah, I think
Facebook
she does.
Also.
I think she does.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think who else is there. McGregor is always there.
I have my issues, but she's a good writer.
Let me think who else.
I think an autograph from her would go a long way to mending some fences with me. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. Right?
She's probably like, who the fuck are you?
I know Janine Hoffman has promised to be there this year again. She was there last year.
She's very, very sweet.
She is one of the sweetest people you ever meet. And Shane Curry is going to be there again this year.
Now, didn't you have a thing with her wife last year?
What? I never had a thing with her wife. We're friends. Hello. Oh my hell.
Wait, isn't her wife Brenda?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mean like a thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Jeez. You were friendly.
Yeah. We're friends.
Okay, she seems like a nice lady.
She is. She's a wonderful person, and they are a beautiful couple. They really are. They complement each other very well, and they're down to earth, the sweetest people you ever want to meet.
Well, I'm really looking forward to going next year. The wife and I have she's already stated that as soon as we get our tax money in next year, we are booking hotels and getting everything ready, so that setting some money aside so we can have a really great time.
Oh, that'd be great.
We're going to be child-free, so we can hang out in the bar and just have a really good time. Sweet. So I think that you should do that now. Seriously, I think that you should get anybody that you can talk into it.
Yep.
To do something, and then we can kind of splice it in.
That would be nice.
We can do that. I mean, we're plugging their books. Well, I mean, mostly kind of. Unless we don't like them, and then I don't. But we mostly like something about everything we read.
Yeah, that's true. There's always a positive in just about everything. Mm-hmm. Some topics and some story premises or storylines we like more than others, but...
Have we heard anything about Shay Godfrey having a sequel to Nightshade yet?
No, actually, that's a good question. I have not heard anything. But
Because I want to read it.
yeah. And check this out. Rev, did you notice that Rebecca Buck and Winter Pennington have books coming out? Actually, Rebecca Buck's has officially come out, but I cannot recall that. Ghost of Winter, is it?
That is correct. Oh, and isn't that interesting? Because we have on the phone, who do we have with us?
Winter Pennington.
Uh-huh. There you go.
Yep, and her book, Darkness Embraced, comes out next month. And it is I'm going to look at the title here. It is a Rosso Leggera vampire novel. Did I say that? Did I say that right, Winter?
Good job, Andy.
Yay! Thanks.
What can you tell me about the woman who's modeling for this cover?
I have no idea. That's whatever the publisher picked out. So
I find that the contrast between the font of your name and the font for the rest of the title very interesting.
yeah, I really like that cover a lot.
Thanks, Winter, for helping us out with that.
I should make you roll your R's on that. Rosso Leggera vampire novel.
Very nice.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, it was kind of hot.
I didn't want to enunciate too strongly because I'll scare people. But yeah.
Winter. I have a request.
No, huh?
Can you say, "Welcome to Cocktail Hour with Andy and the Rev"? Can you do that for me?
No, I can't do it. It's got to just come up.
I don't think that's ever going to come up in a conversation.
Well, thank you for coming on, Winter. I know it came out of the blue, and I really appreciate you.
Well, thanks for whacking the bush and scaring me out.
Whoa!
You can leave that in.
That was good stuff.
Right.
Wow.
Nice.
Can we get some kind of a testimonial for our website about whacking bushes? That would be awesome.
Oh, stop.
Thank you both. Have a good chat and a good evening.
All right, you too. Thanks.
And I'll bid you farewell.
All right, I do.
Bye. Pulse.
We got our fingers on the pulse, sister.
Or our fingers in the bushes. I'm really not sure how to handle all that, you know?
Pulse, bushes, general area.
You can feel the pulse in the bush, really.
Oh, God.
You're doing it right.
Lordy. Yep, time for another drink. Okay, so this is the conclusion of our fabulous show. And we had a fabulous superstar author just drop right in and make sure we pronounce her character properly. Mm-hmm. Which was great.
It was very cool.
Yep. So, what are we going to do for the next show, Rep?
The next show is our long-awaited Western show.
Yay, buddy.
Now, I'm hoping that the next time we do a Western show, we'll be able to include the new Colette Moody book. I ain't forgot about that.
We don't even know if she's doing a damn Western.
She will, because you know why?
Because you tell her to?
Because it was a goddamn great idea.
Well, yeah, it was definitely a great idea.
Yeah, but so next week we're not gonna we're gonna think on this for a little bit. So we don't want to rush into anything, but it will be a Western show. We will feature 2 or 3 Western themed stories, and it'll be a surprise for you.
Yep, it should be fun.
It will be fun.
Yep.
And we'll have to come up with some Western sounding cocktail to go with it.
Oh yeah, there's probably several things we could do.
I bet.
Mm-hmm. Well, as usual, our show is done, and I still want to go on and on and on because I just absolutely love doing this podcast.
I do too. You know, it's been we've wrapped up 15 episodes. We've been doing this since last September, and I'm just enjoying it more and more. It's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And for our listeners, we've been in talks about expanding what we do here at Cocktail Hour. So who knows what's on the horizon for our 1-year anniversary that's going to be fast approaching.
That's true. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
I know. Awesome.
Very cool. And listeners, if you have suggestions on stories or fandoms that we haven't talked about, or mainstream authors that you're enjoying, let us know.
Mm-hmm.
We're always looking to discover new things and to share that with other folks. So absolutely, let us know what you're reading and what you're enjoying.
Yep. Here. Okay, so listeners, we will have our next show in 2 weeks. Western, be there. We're going to be here.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
Goodbye.
Bye.